I think we're just on this cusp of this major pivot. The key goal of the climate group was, that addressing climate change was an economic opportunity, and that really spoke to me. So that's exactly the idea that business is part of the solution, right? They're not the enemy.
With respect to private sector capital markets, how would you characterize, or how would you kind of rate, I guess, where we are today with respect to sustainable finance?
People refer to the 2018 IPCC report, which talked about 1.5 degrees Celsius risk as a key moment of a wake-up call for folks. I think the banks, investors, and sort of all this movement that's been happening sort of since that moment, but not everybody is where we need to be.
Any individual real estate owner doesn't really have a strong incentive to do something they haven't done previously, i.e. invest in decarbonization technology. What are the best approaches that you've seen to overcoming that kind of collective action and collective inertia?
I think probably a lot of these sectors that we're talking about that are at the greatest risk that you and I can see, but also with the greatest opportunity, the information about the severity of climate change is not really getting to them, that they're not really able to, connect the dots yet. Everybody needs to act, right? And certainly those that are not moving at pace that's needed are going to be left behind. You've got investors moving at a much faster pace with much greater awareness. They're getting enough signals that they know the direction that this is going. Even if they're a tenant, they're going to require that of their landlord to, be as efficient and get to net zero, or they're going to find another company or another location for them to settle. So I think collective action is key. When you're in this together and you're learning together as an industry, you can move much faster. Each individual each individual company can't move at the pace that the industry itself can move together.
What we did yesterday, what we have done historically, which is we own buildings, those buildings are not efficient, that's unfortunate, but we're real estate owners, that's what we do.
Real estate are fixed assets that are at the greatest physical risk. I mean, most of them are, right? Not only from extreme weather, but sea level rise. So that industry should be more aware than ever in terms of some of the other sectors. Obviously, there are other ones, but it should be at the top level of awareness, real estate. The real estate industry really needs to come together to figure out how are we going to do this that's going to be transparent, useful for our investors, useful for our tenants.
As you've seen kind of capital markets, right, embrace this change, how much of that is driven by leadership?
We need public, vocal leaders making the case, making the economic case for why we need to make these investments. I don't think we hear enough of the bold voices from the capital markets that we should. I feel optimistic about the economic opportunity, the jobs creation, and that by investing in climate solutions, we're going to create a better economy for the U.S., better lives for people. And we're obviously all in this together, and it's not going to be easy, right? But if we're talking and we're working with each other, we can figure it out.